So I just caught myself in this habit that I've been just lost in essentially for decades and decades and decades of my life. And it's just now coming to light. And it's something that I wanted to share with you guys because I think a lot of you guys are probably doing the exact same thing. And I hope all of us can kick this habit and move on from it. And the habit is calling ourselves lazy. I have, in a big chunk of my life, called myself lazy, not only just to myself, but to others. Some of you maybe on this channel have heard me say that. I kind of sort of say it half jokingly, but nevertheless, I do say it. And it is something that I have been sort of labeling myself for a long time. And the other day I was just thinking about this. I was like, well, am I a lazy person? I say sometimes that I'm lazy and there's certain things I don't want to do. So, okay, let's look at the evidence. And I'm looking like, okay, I got into sync licensing and I created thousands of tracks and stuck with it for 13 years. Doesn't seem lazy to me. Okay, but maybe I just sort of found one thing that I really liked. And then I was going through, just part of my life after part of my life and realizing like, no, I kind of do this. Like, I started my YouTube channel and I just consistently put stuff out and it just grew and grew and grew and it's still growing and it's something that I just do now and I really enjoy doing it. And that's, I have, I don't know, 700 videos or something on my YouTube channel. I'm like, does a lazy person put out 700 videos on a YouTube channel on a weekly basis? Probably not. That doesn't seem like that fits either. So the evidence was just like not matching up with this label that I was putting on myself, which was lazy. So I thought about it more. I'm like, well, then why am I doing that? Why am I calling myself lazy? And I think I can figure it out. I think it's just a framing problem. I think it's a lack of a definition, really. And I realized as I did some introspection on this, and this is what I really hope you guys maybe can take from this and benefit from it as well, is that when I've been calling myself lazy, how I'm going to reframe that, and I think how I should have framed it all along, is that I'm a person with a personality, and there are specific tasks and things that energize me and excite me and even give me a challenge, but I love it. And there are things that just drain me. There are things that I dread, things that just feel like work. They just feel like they are dragging my life energy down, just sucking the life out of me. Okay. And that's when the light bulb clicked and I realized, okay, everything that I've been calling myself lazy for has been things that fit into this category. So you guys might have noticed, I don't edit any videos at all on YouTube. I just come on here, turn on my webcam, click start on OBS, say what I want to say. I have some notes sometimes I don't, and click done when I'm done, okay? Why? Why am I doing it that way? Well, I mean, if I edited it, you probably would have less uhs and ums, and sometimes I repeat myself, and I don't have, the perfect arc of a YouTube video, essentially. There's the there. I could have edited that one out, but I'm not going to. Not going to do it. Just going to keep talking. Why would I do it this way? Because for me, the thought of having to turn on this camera, say what I'm going to say, export it, bring it into a video editing software, chop it up, export it, re-upload it to YouTube, thumbs down. That's a big drain on my energy. I don't feel excited by that. I know that if I have that much work to do to put up a video on YouTube, after a while, I probably just won't do it because it's just too much. It's not as fun as what I'm doing right now, which is just sort of being on, kind of in a performing sort of a way, and just sort of giving you guys my two thoughts, my opinions, my wisdom, and learning a lot alongside you guys with this whole crazy industry that we're a part of. So this is what I love doing, turning it on, just talking. And then when it's over, I love having a file that I can literally directly drag into YouTube, upload, put my little thumbnail, done. I feel energized. I feel good. I have a sense of accomplishment for the day. And even though it's work, and even though there's a bit of you got to hype yourself up for this kind of a thing, it doesn't drain me at all. In fact, it gives me energy. It's just the editing. That's the stuff that I'm like, eh. And so I realized, going back to why laziness needs to be reframed, is I've become very self-aware of the things that I don't want to do. That's really what it comes down to. There's a certain list of things that I really don't want to do. And so I have been very good at getting creative and high energy to avoid all of those, right? So because I didn't want to ever edit my videos, I've gotten really good at just turning on a camera and talking because I realized I took away my options, right? So many YouTubers, when they start talking in front of a camera, they'll do, I don't know. And then then they'll sit there and kind of pause and they'll stop because they'll say, well, I'll edit this later. It's okay. I don't have that luxury. I have to just keep going. And if I'm 8 minutes into a video and I really fall apart, oh, it sucks. It never feels good. But I've taken off editing. I'm not going to edit anything. So I'm just going to literally plow through it, try to joke through it, or make fun of myself, or do something to just get through it. So it forced me to become more, yeah, I don't know, whatever, more creative, basically, on a different side, a different skill, compensate for the fact that I'm not going to do this. Okay. And now, is this good or bad, or is this, what does this mean? It doesn't mean anything. All it means is that, like, I just have a certain personality that if I want to compete and do this YouTube thing and really put myself out there, I got to get around these little sticking points. And that's maybe where a lot of you guys are struggling with your sync licensing careers. Okay. So mixing could be your thing that you just hate. Mastering could be your thing that you just hate. Automating your strings, trying to get more dynamics out of your performances. It could be transitions between verses and chorus. It could be following along with the reference track. I don't know. But I wanted to share this with you guys because it's so powerful for me to, first of all, stop whipping myself over the back and calling myself a lazy person, which is a harmful, negative thing to be telling yourself, and it's not doing you any good at all. So you guys probably are not lazy. In fact, I'm almost getting to the point of thinking that I don't think any human being anywhere is lazy. We are all doing essentially the best that we can. But I think there are just some people that have figured out ways to hack and get around that laundry list of things that kind of need to get done, or at least need to be addressed in some way, but you have to creatively problem solve for it. So if it is, let's say, for some examples, so maybe this can help you guys out. If you are struggling with your strings just don't sound that, realistic and not that dynamic, and you hear all this stuff musically, but you just can't put it together. And every time you try to go, program your strings, it's a mess. It doesn't sound great. Maybe you partnering with another composer solves that problem. You don't have to do that. You let that composer add their strings, or maybe they take your strings and mess with them, and you give them a percentage of the writers for doing that. Is that a good or a bad thing? Well, it's neither. It's neutral. It's if you feel like that is what it's going to take to get you through that hump, to get you away, hack yourself around this thing that it drains you and you don't like it. If it hacks you around it and you got to give out, a little percentage of your writer share to get to the point where you're doing this full time, do it. 100%, I would say, absolutely. Why not? Just figure out a way to get past whatever it is that's holding you back. So, with that said, I'm going to basically cut this one short, but I want to ask you guys, please, in the comments below, are you doing this? Are you calling yourself lazy? Do you constantly tell other people you're lazy? Do you tell yourself you're lazy? Is that something that you kind of do? I feel like a lot of people do that. Maybe we don't even talk about it. And then secondly, you understand what I'm saying here in terms of reframing it, that you probably do a lot of things. You work really hard in many parts of your life, but for those few things, we call ourselves lazy. And what are those things for your sync licensing career? That's really more what I want to know from you guys in the comments below. So what is just feels like an energy drain for you? It feels like you're just giving so much and you get nothing back from it. What's the biggest thing that just bums you out, essentially, about having to do music or produce music full-time for Music Library? So I'd like to know what that is, and hopefully we can help each other get through these obstacles. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'm really looking forward to reading your comments.